Hey guys, I'm Austin with Absorb Media, and today we're going to compare the $330 Sennheiser MKE 600 to the $250 Audio Technica AT897 and the $45 Amazon microphone by HTDZ, I believe it is. So throughout the first part of the video, I'm going to be switching between the mics and I'll be labeling which one you're hearing on screen. Now that I'm looking at my monitor, I probably should have wore a lighter colored shirt to see the mics better, but oh well. So all three of these microphones that we'll be comparing are supercardioid condenser microphones, which means they're very directional, only picking up at what's in front of them and do a good job at rejecting on what's beside them, usually about 45 degrees or so. Kind of, they got like a spread. They're usually called shotgun microphones, which imagine like a blast coming out the end of these, all of them, while shooting me in the face. But they usually reject the sounds from the sides of it and a little bit behind it, but usually you do get a little bit of pickup more from the back than you do the sides on the supercardioid pickup patterns. But the only one that is different is the HTDZ because it has a switch on it that says normal, which kind of looks like a kind of looks omnidirectional, more of a bigger pickup pattern on it, and then tele, which is more of the condensed supercardioid. We're going to be leaving it in tele for this video. So for reference, I have all three of these microphones ran into my Zoom H5, and I'm in a small office. I do have sound treatment on my ceiling, and it is a carpeted room, so I'm not sure what kind of reverb we'll be picking up from the sides. There's really nothing going on the sides here. I do have my computer on directly behind the camera on the ground. I'll also do a audio recording of me speaking directly into each individual mic, saying the same line over and over and over. Then I'm going to do a test with each one of these microphones pointed at a Bluetooth speaker, repeating the same thing so I can get a consistent, precise repetition of audio 3 times in a row so you can hear the difference 1-to-1. So this newest microphone I have here, the Sennheiser MKE 600, has been a very popular microphone in short films and a lot of content creators lately. This mic has phantom power, which means you don't always need a battery as long as you have a recorder or a camera that can output phantom power. It also has a battery input too, so you can use a AA battery if needed. It did come with this. It came with this little cable here. It's a XLR to 3.5, and it says it's smart, so I haven't tried this yet, but you can plug it right into your phone and it'll work on your phone, and you can plug it into any camera, and because it's phantom powered, it's ready to go by just plugging straight into your camera without a battery, and that's pretty cool that it came with this. It's actually a really nice cable. I'm not sure if there's anyone out there using a shotgun mic on their phone. I'm curious to know what that setup is and what you're doing with it. It also came with this nice little shock mount. You can't see it off camera here. I'm actually using it to hold my Audio Technica right now, but I actually like it. It's pretty small, it's thin, it's lightweight, and it seems like it does a pretty good job at absorbing shock on the camera. Or on the microphone. Yeah, I like it. First I didn't, but I think I do. It also has a switch on it to add a low cut filter, which can help eliminate any low rumbles or wind noise, which I've heard people say that the MKE 600 is like the baby brother of the Sennheiser MKE 416, which you're not familiar with that microphone. It is a legendary microphone that runs for about $1,000. And now the Audio Technica here. Yeah, me and this microphone go way back. We've been together a long time, about 10 years. Wow. Close to 10 years. Yeah, I've had this mic since I started making YouTube videos way back in the day when I first got into making videos in, like, I don't know, high school. So the AT897 has got me where I'm at today with my production company. It's been there from the start. It also has a low cut filter on it, but it's positioned in a weird way and you almost need like a knife or a blade to get down and switch it, which I guess means you're not going to accidentally switch it back and forth if that is a concern of yours. So I always liked the sound of the AT897. I always liked how it's pretty neutral and flat, and I liked that I felt like I could go either way with it. Flat in a way where it's not too flat. It sounds very natural. It never sounds like it's adding too much of like low-end bass that I feel like you get with a lot of these newer mics in this price range. And I never really liked that because I always feel like it's too much bass. I'd rather have the option to add it in. I just like having that flexibility with the sound that this thing produces. But we'll see if I think I prefer the MKE 600. But we'll see. Me and this mic go back. We go way back. And we got the, let me make sure I'm even calling this right, the HTDZ microphone. This microphone retails for $45. It's actually hard to find now, but it is still sold on Amazon. I did find it today. I don't know why I bought this. I think I needed a second microphone when I had the AT897 for something a while back. I don't think I bought this first. Or maybe I did. I don't know. Either way, I had it and thought it'd been fun to throw into this comparison. But I have very low expectations on this thing at its price point, but we'll see. This is an audio test for the Sennheiser MKE 600. This is an audio test for the Sennheiser MKE 600. Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. This is an audio test for the Technica AT897. This is an audio test for the Technica AT897. Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. This is an audio test for the HTDZ shotgun microphone. This is an audio test for the HTDZ microphone. Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. Okay, for this next part, let's see how well these things do on their off-axis rejection. And I'm going to do this not scientifically. I'm going to grab the mic and I'm just going to turn it as I talk. So first we have the Audio Technica. This is the Audio Technica AT897. Check 1, 2, 3. 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 Now I'm going to try talking with the microphone facing away from me and the back facing me. Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. This is the rear axis of the Audio Technica AT897. Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. This is the Sennheiser MKE 416. No, that's not right. This is the Sennheiser MKE 600. Check 1, 2, 3. 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 Now let's try the opposite end of the microphone. Have it facing away from me. This is the Sennheiser MKE 600. Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. All right. That is the Sennheiser MKE 600. So during the HTDZ rejection test, the audio cut out. And I believe there's some internal wires or something that come loose. But when I put the mic back, it turned back on. Because you can hear me putting the mic back onto the stand. So in this next test is the Bluetooth speaker test. We're going to have all the mics the exact distance from the Bluetooth speaker, replaying the same line, which is a line from my podcast, the Creative Talk Podcast, which I'll link in the description below. And that way we can get a consistent volume. On my Zoom H5, the gain was set to 5 on the dial knob and was left there for all 3 of these mics. And then in post, I boosted the levels to all the volume to match across all 3 of them. Also, you'll notice in the HTDZ test here, there's some static popping going on, and I believe that is where the wire had come loose earlier or a long time ago. I'm not entirely sure. It didn't seem to be a problem early on in the video during the test. I didn't notice it ever when using it before. This is something entirely new as of right now. Here's the Bluetooth speaker test.
All right, so how do we, because we've both done weddings before, how do we feel about phones at weddings?
Don't like them.
Yeah, I hate it so much.
Phones as in like people there using their phones in front of you when you're trying to take photos or video.
Yeah, even like, for instance, like the last wedding that I did, it was for one of my ex-coworkers I work with at Community. And all right, so how do we, because we've both done weddings before, how do we feel about phones at weddings?
Don't like them.
Yeah, I hate it so much.
Phones as in like people there using their phones in front of you when you're trying to take photos or video.
Yeah, even like, for instance, like the last wedding that I did, it was for one of my ex-coworkers I work with at Community. And all right, so how do we, because we've both done weddings before, how do we feel about phones at weddings?
Don't like them.
Yeah, I hate it so much.
Phones as in like people there using their phones in front of you when you're trying to take photos or video.
Yeah, even like, for instance, like the last wedding that I did, it was for one of my ex-coworkers I work with at Community.
Okay, let's talk about these mics. So in that Bluetooth speaker test, the HTDZ had those pops going on, and there almost sounded like there was this noise of like a hiss in the background, like the static going on, almost as if it was slightly being held out the window of a moving car or something. So that didn't sound good at all. But it did surprise me before I had those issues, the overall just sound quality of the voice of it. But let's go down the list here. Let's start with the Sennheiser. The Sennheiser MKE 600, I think, well, first of all, I want to say right off the bat when I started this test that it is the most sensitive mic of the other two. It is a whole lot more sensitive, which the benefit to that is if you got a cheaper recorder where the preamps aren't as great and you're going to get some more noise or hiss in the background when you have to set the gain pretty high on those, a more sensitive mic will allow you to keep that gain lower and keep your noise floor a lot lower than that. So the Sennheiser, I think, also sounds more full than the other two mics. It sounds like it has more range there in the voice. It also has more of a low end too, which I don't think it's too much. I think it's tasteful. But I can EQ the Audio Technica to sound very close to it, I think. So the Audio Technica, I'm biased toward. I've had it for years. I love it. I haven't had a problem with it. And even in this test, I'm still pretty impressed with that microphone for as old as it is. But audio doesn't really advance as fast as most technologies. It's a real flat tone, and I've always thought it sounded great, but I think I do prefer the Sennheiser sound to that over the Audio Technica. You can EQ it to sound pretty similar, I think, to my ear, but the build quality of both of them are solid. These are full metal microphones. They feel nice in the hand too, and they don't feel like they're going to break and can definitely take a fall. Like I said, I've had my mic for years. This Sennheiser feels just the same, if not better. But I do have to say I prefer the matte black of the Sennheiser over their Audio Technica kind of silver gray. Kind of matches the same color of my FX6. And now, finally, the HTDZ. I think, well, first of all, audio quality, right off the bat, I was super surprised for $45 that this microphone could even sound the way that it did. Did it sound great? No, but it sounded better than $45 in my opinion. And I think where that price really comes to play, and obviously in this video, was the build quality. During the video, I tried to pull an XLR cable out to switch it over for the Bluetooth test when I was moving the mics around. And it pulled like the guts out of the microphone. It pulled the XLR port out, yanked the cable, and I think that's where things were coming loose earlier and why we were getting a static pop and the hiss and stuff. I'm pretty sure the mic is just broken at this point. So overall, the $45, I think you get what you pay for. $45, you're going to get a good sound and a crappy built mic, but not the greatest mic at all in the world. But I was, again, super impressed how it stacked up against the others. With a little EQ, you could do a lot to it. But build quality, I would not recommend it as a professional or doing this in any way where you're charging clients and showing up with that thing, because if that falls apart, and you're kind of screwed. If you're making short films for fun and you really need a super cardioid microphone and around $50 is your budget, that's where the HTDZ 8.1 stands, in my opinion. I wouldn't recommend it 100%, but if you absolutely need something, have this kind of microphone. $45 is hard to beat. But there are a lot of other smaller shotgun microphones by Deity and Rode that you could probably get for spending a little bit more that may sound better. I'm actually curious to do some tests. I might try that out in the next video. So which one was my favorite in my opinion? I think I'm swinging toward the Sennheiser. I may be leaving my Audio Technica for my AT897 that I've used forever. I do need a second good microphone where I need to film both sides of the conversation. And I think the Sennheiser may be the next one I pick up. I like that it sounds good almost with no EQ right out of the mic for a quick turnaround when you don't need to do much but maybe tweak the audio a little bit. It's quicker to get a beautiful sound out of, I think, than the Audio Technica AT897. Takes a little bit of experience in knowing the mic and using it a little bit here and there. And the biggest thing for me and why I'm going to go with the MKE 600 is because it is a more sensitive mic. The Audio Technica is not very sensitive, and having to keep the gain cranked on that introduces more noise and raises that noise floor. Having a sensitive mic like the Sennheiser, even if it sounds exactly the same, it just being more sensitive is worth an upgrade for me because I'm going to get a cleaner sound in the end. Well, that's it for this video. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this. I'm not an audio engineer by any means, but I do really enjoy messing with microphones and audio editing. I've been really diving into that a lot lately. It is 50% of the video and filmmaking experience, so it's pretty important.
But let me know if you enjoy this. I'll be making more stuff like this regardless. And that's it for this one. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.